What is going on, everyone? My name's Boy and I'm back with some more Age Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Shelty. His opponent today in the blue color playing as Isis. His name is Rayzen. And the map is Tundra. And this is a game from 2016 played on the Vubly balance patch 1.04. So this was a while ago, you know. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's always nice to go back and see what once was and compare it to what is currently, because it's something that we can actually do in our game as opposed to some of those modern games like, say, League of Legends, where if you want to go back and you want to play on, say, like a Season 4 patch, like there's no option to do that. But in Vubly, in the Titans, and in our current lives, you could do whatever you want. You can go back, you can play 1.04, you can play 1.03, you can play 3.0. It's all available for your perusal on Vubly, and it's a good time. However, we do have a very exciting game suggested by a Twitch user who is in this game. So cannot give that away because it might give the result of the game away. Very rare to see somebody suggest a game that they lose. However, we will be watching this one and seeing what these guys do. Odin in 2016 was very much so underdeveloped in terms of meta, in terms of strategy, in terms of just what was good. I think I'm not sure if Odin had the Raven buffs yet, or had the Ulfsark Lone Wanderer buffs yet, or if like Ulfsark spam was like a strategy or anything like that. So we'll see what Shelty's going to come up with. Rayzen, on the other hand, he's playing Isis, and I think 1.04 was one of the first patches that really Egyptian felt a hit. Yes. I think this was possibly the first patch that Egyptians really felt a hit. They got their Mercenary nerfed. They got like Ancestors Eclipse was nerfed. Bunch of things that make Egyptian really strong got toned back a little bit. But Rayzen's still playing Isis in this one, and Isis was definitely still a god that was considered strong. And it's funny that nowadays people, especially at the top level of play, consider Isis as almost unpickable, when I think it's a bit of a slight over-exaggeration. It's only unpickable in the sense that you don't have a straight advantage, and you're probably playing more like 50-50 in most games instead of having like a 60-40 game or a 55-45 game. But Rayzen was a top player back in 2016, and so was Shelty. Both players played the game quite a bit back then, and now Shelty going to be throwing up his temple. Funnily enough, the temples here, we don't see this kind of temple being placed anymore because everybody understands how abused it can be. However, for this specific matchup, this temple is probably not going to be a problem here. And in fact, it's going to help Shelty build a barricade around this gold mine to prevent early cheese on it. It is a bit of a crummy gold mine, but a temple here followed by a house and a wall will stop the priest shenanigans coming to fruition here. Now Rayzen not paying attention, sending his priest into the temple here, and this Ulfsark will chase this one down, and that priest is going to go down, and that is a dead priest as the Skraeling picks that one off, throwing down the house. Ravens are up nice and early, so not getting them in the classical age like in 1.03 of the Titans patch, the original Ensemble Studios patch. Get them straight away. And you're going to be checking out the map, trying to figure out the points of which the Isis player will be gathering food from. And it's funny because these Ravens, they kind of give you some sort of false map hacks in a way, because the Ravens, they cost 0 population and they fly. So you can kind of check out the entire map. by the time you advance, you should have seen everything, and you will be able to get some cool things going on from there. Now, Shelty's grabbed his hand axe and grabbed his pickaxe. He's not researched husbandry yet because you kind of need the wood, and he's making some Rayzen, on the other hand, he's advancing through Bast. He's got pickaxe, he's got hunting dogs. I'm not sure if he's going to be going for a second town center here. It's looking like that's probably not the case just yet. Still eating this caribou over here. I believe that Shelty would always, he hasn't spotted it just yet. He's going to be seeing it soon, but he does need to kind of build up the barracks. We're seeing a fast second town center from Shelty. Okay, fair enough. Very nice build as well, coming exactly into 300 wood, 400 or 300 gold. Has exactly the right amount of resources, but just needs to click it up. Valkyrie coming in as the villagers dump their food into the granary, and Shelty going to be making his way in with the Valkyrie. Has found the villagers, going to be chasing them away for the time being. Laborers, he may actually lose one of these here, but Rayzen has hit the next age through Bast, giving his Pharaoh 14 damage, or 14.4 damage right off the right away right now. But it looks like the villager getting a little bit out of sorts there, a bit out of line, trying to jab away at a Valkyrie. I don't know about that one. Now the Herso looks like Shelty's feeling like he should start being a little bit aggressive here. Moving forward, going to try and push Rayzen off this forward hunt here. Rayzen not going for a second town center at all, looking like he's just going straight for a second for his armor and going straight to the next age. I like this from Rayzen. The really strong, fast heroics were and still are the reason why, or the reason how Egyptians can get an advantage over their Odin counterpart or their Norse counterpart. But the Herso coming in and be trying to push these heroes and the villagers off this food. Villagers fighting away at the Herso, but they have a lot of HP. And the Valkyrie was there distracting the Pharaoh for quite some time. Now the Herso are on top of this Pharaoh, going to have to run away for the time being. Nice path blocking there from Rayzen. He has lost a priest, has lost a villager, and now he has to delete the granary for some reason. He's going to have to rebuild that one. And the Sphinx coming in as well. Shelty gets his town center up. No problems though. Sphinx going to try and get a little bit of damage dealt by get a jab from the Gatherer. No problems there. Valkyrie going to come around? No, not going to happen. Leaving the relic on the ground for no real reason. Random Raven in the top of the map there. Not sure what that's all about. And now the Herso are going to try and take down the Sphinx. After losing the Valkyrie, no problem there. Rayzen 100% will be on his way to the heroic age through Nephthys now. And the gold mine getting gathered. So we are going to be... Oh, he's got a... Okay, I like this from Rayzen. This is a little bit of an addition here. With the Axeman coming out. This is just to counter those early raiding cavalry, not raiding cavalry, those early Herso, so that Shelty can't really deal with an Ancestor's Eclipse push, because if the Axemen are there, he will really be able to kill off those Herso while the Ancestors can run around and be a little bit reckless. So we'll see if this push has any real oomph behind it or not. We do have 8 villagers on wood. Couple of villagers building farms. If you're a fan of Egypt and you find yourself losing to some of these Norse players, maybe start mixing in these Axemen, because they can really help with that all-in push. Now the Migdol Stronghold coming up, it's going to be attempting to, well, it's kind of protects this gold mine, but also doesn't. It only protects the gold mine so far as the army of Shelty would come through this way. The army of Shelty could still come through the top way past the town center, but Rayzen can always grab this town center and make this gold mine very, very safe. And because Shelty has sat back for so long here, he's not going to be too much of a threat right now. Has gone for like a fast heroic age himself here off of 2 town centers, sitting out at 9 minutes. Gets his mountain giant out. And I believe Njord in this patch was quite strong indeed. The Axemen coming through with the Sphinx do pick off one Olfsark. And I only say it was strong because the the Walking Woods they were trying to work out a way for the Walking Woods to be useful, and I think they just overtuned it or something. I'm not 100% sure. Not 100% sure like what happened with him. So we'll see when Shelty casts them, if it does too much. And now we've got Rayzen getting a couple of Scorpion out, has a bunch of those Axemen out, but now Shelty can just make Jarl to counter this army very, very hard. Unfortunately, Shelty getting pushed off wood yet again. He needs to kind of move over into this location here and really defend his villages. A big part of what makes Norse strong is definitely the Ragnarok, and keeping those villages alive makes Balder even stronger. And now we've got some Chariot Archers for Rayzen coming out, as well as almost finishing off that siege work. A little bit late on the siege works. I'd love to have seen that up like almost instantly, to be honest, maybe even before the Migdol Stronghold, or with the Pharaoh empowering it, just so you can get this attack happening a little bit quicker before Shelty gets to set it up, because while having like boosted over 115 population is a good attack, hitting with like 80 population when your opponent is only on, say, 80 population himself means that you get an even bigger advantage over your opponents. So hitting a little bit earlier with the siege weapons is always a good idea if you can manage it. But Rayzen going for the delayed attack. We do see a random mountain giant in the base of Rayzen. He's found the monument to the villages as well. He's going to be trying to bash down this watchtower. One special attack did so much damage right then and there. He takes down the what do you call it? The watchtower. He's going after the monument to the villages. Just needs like one more special attack, and that's going to be going down. And will we see the Walking Woods get thrown down straight away? No, not going to do so. Just going to run the mountain giant away for the time being. Maybe target down some houses. We have the Chariot Archers moving in. The Jarls coming out to defend against this as another hill fort's coming through. These Chariot Archers are not being microed back. Going to be losing a couple of them if he's unlucky. Maybe even just one though, because he does manage to get out of there for the time being. The mountain giant is about to pick off the other watchtower, but a priest has spawned. And that's going to be another dead watchtower, but the mountain giant will be falling for that point there. A lot of priests getting forced though. That's a lot of gold. He can move those forward and then heal up his army if he needs to though. Now the Axemen are coming in, but again they're fighting against Ulfjarls, which are their direct counter. The way to counter Axemen is either A, you make archers, which Norse don't have, or B, you make cavalry. And the cavalry counter literally everything that Rayzen's got right now, because they have the bonus against myth units. Meanwhile, we are not now seeing some Huskarl coming out, because I think Shelty thinks that he can force Rayzen to stop making those Axemen. And if he can do that, then we get out a bunch of Huskarl to really chew through these Chariot Archers. But I think Rayzen has gotten himself medium upgrades on his Axemen. He's not going to lose those or stop building them anytime soon. Now the Chariot Archers moving around here looking for some more raids. There are still wood villages here. You haven't learnt yet, Shelty. You got raided here once. You got to just leave this location. Villagers over here without an ox cart as well. And now the Chariot Archers moving forward while Shelty's moving forward. I like this raid. Ancestors Eclipse into the base of Shelty is going to alert him to it though. So that's going to be a little bit depressing, because the villagers probably would have all died while Shelty was focusing on the micro over here. Now the Ulfjarls are going to be returning back to their base in order to try and pick off these minions, and they do a lot of damage to those ancestors with the bonus, 300% to myth units. So they should be able to clean this up fairly easily without too much problem. A lot of villagers are in the towers and the town centers of Shelty right now. It's got he's got 22 villagers in that town center currently. And yeah, I think that's kind of everything. He's going to get those back to work. So nice job with the Jarls picking off everything else. But the Chariot Archers still sitting over here, have not been dealt with. Send some of those Huskarls over here and just make these push those away. Ulfjarls over this side, and you'll be golden. But using the The Jarls try and pick off these chariots. Maybe really, really bad. Now we've got siege towers moving in for Rayzen. Going to be trying to take down their hill fort. And we do have some villagers that have snuck up to the top of the map, as well as a dwarf over here. Snuck up to the top of the map, and it's looking like, where's Rayzen going? He's searching for something, but I'm not sure he's going to find it. It's very much out of the way, and unless he's luckily just randomly decided to check the Auroch, he's gonna be fine, I think. Now Rayzen's still making another push in. The big thing though right now is Rayzen hasn't really done any damage, and if you know anything about Norse, simply being even as Norse is being ahead. That's what you're aiming for, because if you can be even, if you can go through tech evenly, you get that win con with the Ragnarok. We'll see what happens. We still haven't seen the Walking Woods from Shelty either, so I'd love to see what happens then. There's still a bunch of priests out, so Shelty kind of has to pick those off, but we do see the Walking Woods coming up to the top of the map here. They have 7 hack damage, 7 damage and 18 crush damage as well. These look awfully similar to the current iteration of Walking Woods, so I feel like I feel like it's still like pretty good, but Skadi is just better. But you do get this ring giver upgrade, which he has got, which gives 25% extra HP, putting these Jarls up to 288 HP. Absolutely insane right now. Mercenary cavalry getting picked off and moving forward. You're going to be attempting to push through all these chariot archers. You really need to get out some spearmen at this point. Spearmen will absolutely shred through the Jarls. Well, not shred through them, but at least counter them. Possibly even actually getting cavalry wouldn't be a bad idea either, but spearmen to deal with the Huskal and the Ulf Jarls would be a really good idea, but Shelty's still pushing through here. Getting shot down a little bit, while these walking pines getting taken out by the priests, which probably have funeral rites, and that's there completely gone. And Shelty still pushing through, trying to get as many pickoffs as he possibly can underneath this town center, forcing Rayzen back and in order to make him be a little bit behind. We may be seeing Shelty attempting to go for this town center as well, making a tech switch maybe. Nope, still making Jarls and Huskal from the same town center, but just throwing away his entire army here underneath this town center. It's not like he's making bad trades, it's just not good trades. It's kind of like maybe net neutral in that attack, which is kind of good because Rayzen is on full Rayzen, because he was kind of on the back foot. And that's a thing, right? And now we've got Jarls just going after this town center. Maybe after this granite going, and I can't speak. And the Huskals going after the town center, but I think it's going to be a bit of a fight that needs to happen here. Villagers moving forward, they want to eat these elk. Definitely smart. I like that Shelty's just not being okay with just going for farms. He's still eating, he's still hunting. He's even got some villagers up here on this gold mine as well, which is going to allow him to get a little bit of free extra gold, which Rayzen may not be accounting for, but I'm not sure he's going to have the time to get those raids happening just yet. Here we go, the town center coming up. We've got the chariot archers getting pushed back on this side. Shelty needs to bring those back over to the main army. War Elephant has his eyes set on this town center. It's going to be really close. Does manage to get onto it, which is going to slow this down. Hersa needs to get over onto this Scorpion Man, as well as those Jarls, just to pick him off, because he does so much damage and he tanks a lot of damage as well. And now the rest of these units going to get picked off, but Mercenary are in the mix here, so they're getting a lot of value out of themselves. They are relatively cheap units at only 120 gold. If you compare that to like, they're kind of the same cost as, or maybe a little bit more expensive, and do have really strong stats. So every single moment they are attacking is very, very good for the Egyptian player. And Shelty, who had such a huge advantage there, which I felt like he probably threw away in this location. He's actually kind of having the fight of his life right now, trying to get this town center up. But while this is going on, Shelty is on the top of this town center. And guess what? Rayzen has no idea because Shelty picked off this watchtower with his mountain giant. This town center is getting awfully close to going up as well. Shelty is getting there super fast. I'd love to see Shelty just build a couple of portable rams here as well. But now the town center's up for Shelty. It's going to be 3 town centers to 2 town centers, pushing Rayzen back here, and now he's going to go up to 4 town centers when this town center up here is finished. More Huskarl can come over here and pick off some of these houses as well, and now Rayzen is probably thinking about coming over here and getting this, and he knows about it now. There's a hill fort here, there's a town center here, and there is 4 town centers for Shelty. What a really, really smart move there, sending those units around the back, getting complete control of the town centers, or at least not the town centers, but 4 of the town centers. Now, looking like we're moving forward. But the big thing for Rayzen is he's going to have access to all of these gold mines over here, unless Shelty can pick them off the forest fire here. Okay, so this forest fire does a little bit of damage, but what is it? It's like 40 crush damage per second, and I think the forest maybe lasts for, I don't know. I don't even know, man. I don't even know if it's worth it to do that. Better to save the forest fire for like a push through like a forest over here or something like that. Push through a forest here, and we see the map. We see the mountain giants from Shelty coming into this temple. I love it. He's also got a bunch of infantry units still in here, so he can still keep building up. And this is going to slow Shelty's push down a little bit on the front, because he could be using those mountain giants to just bash through these Migdols at this point, Gold Star, but he's going for the cheeky. He is going for the hometown center of Rayzen, and I've got to assume that Rayzen, I've got to assume that Rayzen's going to be fairly close to the next age right now, but considering he's spamming mercenary, he's got no gold left in the bank, spamming up walls, spamming up watchtowers. Walls cost good amounts of gold as well. Now I've got the siege towers coming onto this town center. You're going to be trying to clean this one up. And Shelty has got these 2 mountain giants that can just pop out, pick off these siege towers basically for free. And Shelty going to be returning back here with his Ulfsuck and his Huskarl. Our Scorpion Man coming over here as well. And now the mountain giants can clean up the other siege tower, as well as more units moving back in here to pick these guys off. And we should be seeing, no, Shelty just going to be retreating here, and he's going to be coming in onto this watchtower. And even more of these mountain giants going to be attempting to take this down. Yeah, Pepe, he does have Ring Giver, so these Ulfjarls are beautiful. He's also got Thundering Hooves, which puts that HP up even more, up 306 HP. Compare that to the War Elephant, which is 419 HP, and the pop difference I think is 2? 3 to 5, yeah, so there's 2 pop difference. So per pop, these Ulfjarls have got so much more HP than the current War Elephants. So pushing these guys back is going to be really nice and easy. The mountain giants moving in. We've got some of those priests here as well. You can start picking those off, making his way through these houses, destroying Rayzen's population cap there as well. Sitting at 128 of 126 right now. And there's not really that many priests in here. The mountain giants kind of tagging everything. The 3 units going after these priests, and the town center is going to be getting torn down as Shelty is making a beautiful back attack into this town center. Going to be taking this one down. We do see fortified town centers has come through, and Rayzen taps out as he realizes he cannot stop this attack, and that is GG. Well played by Shelty, showing the might that is Njord. I feel like Njord is such an overlooked god, but man, you can do some stuff with it. It's good. It's good. It's definitely not as bad as most people would say. I don't think he could have done this kind of strategy, this kind of attack with Skadi. So a really interesting go of it there for Shelty. And yes, he did suggest this recorded game. So big props to Shelty and his 2016 ego. Looks also going through tier here as well, not even going through Balder. Love it, love it, love it. GG. All right.